Hello, dear students. The topic for today's discussion is elegy as a form of poetry. This literary form has been prescribed for BA Part 2 English Literature Paper 1, that is English Poetry and Drama, by the University of Kota. Students, you must be aware that there are two elegies that have been prescribed for your study, and they are Thomas Gray's Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard and the American poet Walt Whitman's elegy, O Captain, My Captain. Before we learn to critically appreciate and analyze these elegies for their content, it would be reasonable that we know the specific features of an elegy, the definition of an elegy, the function of an elegy, and why do poets choose this form as their form of self-expression. Having been exposed to some sort of literature in your school days, you must be aware of the elegy being a death song. But what are its specific features? I shall be telling you in a short while. And I have often been remarking that a great deal of English literature has its source either in Greek or in Roman literatures and literary forms. So also, this literary form, that is the elegy, is derived from the Greek word elegus, which means a song of bereavement sung along with a flute. If you have seen my other videos, you must be remembering that I have told you that in Greek literatures and Greek literary forms, music had a very important role to play. Like the lyric is a poem that is sung to the accompaniment of a lyre, so also the elegy is sung with the accompaniment of a flute. It is a song of bereavement. I hope you know that the meaning of the word bereavement is death of a close relation or friend. So, any poetry, any song that is composed as a tribute to a close relation or a friend or a famous personality can be called an elegy if it has certain specific features about which we shall be discussing shortly. I can give you certain examples of the famous elegies. A few famous elegies are Tennyson's In Memoriam, written on the death of his close friend Arthur Hallam. Then we have W.H. Auden's elegy titled In Memory of W.B. Yeats, and another elegy by Walt Whitman on Abraham Lincoln, the title of which is When Lilacs Last in the Dooryard Bloomed. So, these are popular examples of elegies, and there is Gray's very famous elegy which has been prescribed for your course. And what is the difference in this elegy, that is elegy written in a country churchyard, and the other elegies, is that Gray's elegy is a highly meditative and reflective poem. It has not been composed for one specific person, but it has been composed for an entire group of poor, unsung, unheard, but talented people whom life did not give the opportunities to flourish and show their talents to the world. So this elegy is slightly different, but it is an elegy all the same. Now let us come to the specific features of an elegy. The specific features of an elegy are that, like a classical epic, my postgraduate students would know what is an epic because they have certain epics prescribed for their PG courses. So, for now, it is important to remember that, like a classical epic or a ballad, Every elegy starts with an invocation to the muse. So I have used two new words, invocation and muse. Well, invocation simply means a prayer to God, a prayer to a deity for inspiration, and muse means the source of inspiration. Now, Greek and Romans had a belief that Lord Zeus had 9 daughters who were the 9 goddesses, and these were the goddesses of creative arts and the sciences. And it was believed that these goddesses were a source of inspiration for creative energy of artists who invoked them or prayed to them for invocation. Now, the the first specific feature is the poet will start his elegy by praying to God for inspiration, and that praying could be to any of the 9 muses for giving him creative inspiration. The second feature is also very similar to this, and this is that as he composes his poem, he will frequently make use of mythological Greek or Roman gods and goddesses. So, first it is invocation, and in the course of the poem, he will often refer to Greek gods and goddesses. As we proceed in the elegiac poem or in the elegy, we will see that the poet finds all nature joins in mourning the death of the person for whom the elegy is being written. By that I mean that the tone of the poem, the choice of the words that the poet uses, the element of nature that he brings into his poem, all point to the fact that the poet feels that the entire world of nature is sad at the death of a certain person, and the entire nature seems to be mourning that person. As the poem proceeds further, these are very important points using which you can develop the entire critical appreciation of any elegy. So, the poet gets a little philosophical, and he raises questions about destiny, justice, and fate, which have been cruel to the dead person, and hence he has died so early. Now, because elegies are expressions of personal grief, elegies focus on the personal emotional experience of the poet, how the poet is feeling at the death of a certain person. Because it is a personal expression of his unhappiness over the death of such and such person, so we will find that most elegies are written in first person. By that I mean that the poet shall use the pronouns I, me, mine to show his personal shock and sadness, unhappiness at the death of a certain person. Again, as we read the elegy far more deeply, we will find a certain pattern in the elegy, and the pattern is most elegies follow the pattern of beginning with sorrow and happiness and sorrow and unhappiness and misery, and they conclude with hope and happiness. Isn't it interesting that the poem begins with pessimism but closes with optimism? Why optimism? This is again a specific feature of the elegy, and the optimism is that the poet accepts the death of his loved one or the person to whom he is paying his tribute, and he begins to believe that the person has shed off his mortal body and he has become immortal after death, and that is why he is hopeful and he is optimistic. By mortal I mean नश्वर, and by immortal I mean शाश्वत. मृत व्यक्ति अपना नश्वर शरीर छोड़कर एक शाश्वत आत्मा बन जाता है. यह इस बात से कवि की सोच सकारात्मक बन जाती है. From pessimism, the elegy moves towards optimism. I told you that I will tell you about the elegiac stanza. So, the elegiac stanza was reinvented by the romantic poets. All the classes who have the romantic age, the second year and MA previous, the fourth paper, you will know that the romantic poets had a special fondness for elegies and subjectivity. Okay, by subjectivity I mean they liked to express their own personal experiences of happiness or sadness, of failures or successes, but they made their poems subjective by talking about themselves, their individual selves. So these poets, the romantic poets, reinvented the elegiac couplet, the elegiac stanza, and the elegiac stanza had 4 lines in one stanza which were written in the iambic pentameter, and and the rhyme scheme popular with them was the AB rhyme scheme. I have picked up 4 lines from Gray's elegy written in a country churchyard, and please pay attention to the last sound of each line. Here I am quoting a few lines. Here rests his head upon the lap of earth. The last sound, not word, the sound is th, earth. Okay? So let us name this sound as A. The sound th. Suppose we give it the name A. The second line is a youth to fortune and to fame unknown. Now the last sound of this line is n, unknown. And suppose we give it the name B. So known, th and n. So the first letter is A, the first name is A, the second is B. Now listen carefully to the third line. Fair signs frowned not on his humble birth. Okay? See? The third line rhymes with the first line because the sound of the last sound of the first line was th, and the sound of the third line, the last sound of the third line is again th. And listen now to the fourth line. And melancholy marked him for her own. So, melancholy marked him for her own. So, the last sound of this line is n. Now this last sound matches with the sound of the second line, that was unknown, and here it is own. So again we had called it the line B. So the rhyme scheme is A B A B. I hope it has become clear to you. We shall be talking more about rhymes and iambic pentameter in my later discussions. Now, why do poets choose this form? Why are poets comfortable with writing elegies? Firstly, because unlike other poetic forms like the epic or the ballad, it is less complicated, and here the poet can easily become subjective by talking about his personal grief, and he can use the first person pronouns I, me, my, mine, so that he can talk about his own unhappiness at the death of a person. So it is an expression of the private emotional experience of the poet. Now this helps the poet to not only pay tribute to his three purposes are solved. He can pay tribute to his loved ones, and he can also lament or mourn the dead, and it also gives him the strength to bear this shock of the death of a loved one. And lastly, it becomes a medium in the hands of the poet to philosophically reflect on the mystery of death. So these are certain specific features and the function of an elegy, and this is the reason why the poets, especially the romantic poets, loved to use the elegy as a form of poem. I hope you have gained certain important information from this discussion, and very soon I shall be discussing yet another literary form. Thank you.